where is the 12th cranial nerve? Just behind this 9th, 10th, 11th. Yes, 9th, 10th, 11th cranial nerve, they are located at this part. Yes, here is the 9, 10 and 11. So can you see, just behind to this cranial nerve is indicating the 12th cranial nerve. So this particular foramen which is passing the hypoglossal nerve is known as the hypoglossal canal. This hypoglossal canal is also known as the anterior condylar canal because it is located in front of the condyle. So this is about the 12th cranial nerve. Now just behind to this 12th cranial nerve, there is the position of the foramina magna. Yes, the foramina magna is the largest foramen of the skull. What are the structures passing through this foramina magna? You can see this image that brain stem, medulla oblongata is passing through here along with the all meningeal covering. Now see that spinal nerve, accessory nerve is having the two roots. Okay, the cranial root and the spinal root. Spinal root of the accessory nerve, it passes through this foramina magna inside the cranial cavity because this rootlets comes from the spinal cord upper segment C1 to C5 part, then it ascends upside, then meets with the cranial root, then that cranial root and spinal root again passes through the jugular foramen. We will see later in the cranial nerve part, but what you have to remember, through this foramina magna the spinal root of the accessory nerve also passes. So there are the right and left two spinal root of accessory nerve. Now as we know that vertebral artery, which is the branch of the first part of the subclavian artery that ascends and passes through the vertebral C6 to C1 foramen, then passes through the suboccipital triangle, then it enters within the intracranial cavity. So to enter within the intracranial cavity, again it has to pass through this foramina magna. So the foramina magna also passes this vertebral artery. Yes, the spinal cord is supplied by the anterior spinal artery and the posterior spinal artery, which also passes through this foramina magna. So these are the various structures passing through the foramina magna. Now we are going to see the few more foramina from the lower side of the skull. As you can see in this image that this is the view of the skull from the inferior side, that is known as the norma basalis. So in this norma basalis, can you see here, these structures are indicating the tooth and this part is indicating the palate. So just in front of the palate there is the one fossa. This fossa or opening foramen is known as the incisive fossa. Yes, what you have to remember that through this incisive fossa the greater palatine nerve and vessels passes. See here, this is the greater palatine foramen on the posterior side of the palate, and there is the one more foramen, that is the lesser palatine foramen. Yes, the greater palatine foramen, it passes the greater palatine nerve and vessels which runs along the margin of the palate and then enters within this incisive fossa, and then after entering, yes, it is running on the side of the palate, then it is entering within the nose, nasal cavity. Okay, so this is the greater palatine nerve and vessels. But now also you have to remember that there is the one nerve that is known as the nasopalatine nerve. Break the name. Naso means nose, palatine means palate. So one nerve is there which is coming from the nose to the palate. Okay, so what you have to remember that suppose this is the incisive fossa, so the greater palatine nerve as well as the greater palatine vessels, they are passing above through this incisive fossa. Yes, this is the incisive fossa, and the structures which are passing above, these structures are the greater palatine nerve and vessels, while there is one more nerve is there which is coming from above to the downside. This is coming from the nose, that's why nasopalatine nerve. So these are the structures passing through this incisive fossa. This MCQ have been asked in the DNB 2015 exam pattern. Okay, so now there is the one more foramen, lesser palatine foramen. This lesser palatine foramen passes the lesser palatine nerve. Now just behind to it, can you see here, just behind to it, this structure is indicating the posterior nasal aperture, and this single bone is known as the vomer. Now can you see this vomer which is participating in formation of the midline septa of the nose? On each side lateral to this posterior nasal aperture there is the lateral nasal wall. Yes, this bony part is indicating the lateral nasal wall which is extending on the back side as a thin plate of the bone which is known as the pterygoid bone. Okay, so this pterygoid bone is having the two bony plates. This is laterally, yes, and this is the medially. So what are the name of this bony plate? The medial side, which is the continuation of the lateral wall of the nose, that is the medial pterygoid plate, while the lateral one is the lateral pterygoid plate. Later we will study the muscles of mastication, in which we will see that lateral surface of the lateral pterygoid plate gives origin to the lateral pterygoid muscle, while the medial surface of the lateral pterygoid plate gives origin to the medial pterygoid muscle. Okay, so after this, now we are going to talk about the next foramen, that is the foramen lacerum. You can see this is the inferior view of the clivus. What is the clivus? The slopy part behind the sella turcica is known as the clivus. Yes, it lodges the brainstem part. Okay, so this is the inferior view of the clivus, and posterior to this there is the largest foramen of the skull, that is the foramina magna, and these structures are indicating the condyles. These are the condyles of the skull which articulates with the atlas bone. Now can you see here, on each side of the clivus there is the foramen. Yes, all the foramen which are visible inside within the cranial fossa, they are same, they will be appear in the same manner from the medial to the lateral. Yes, this is the part over which pituitary gland will be located inside, okay, in front of the clivus, and on each side of the pituitary gland there was the foramen lacerum. Quins are there, so just imagine that trick and the mnemonic and the cranial fossa cavity. On its side there is the foramen lacerum, so these are the same foramen lacerum. Now see, when you go on the lateral side there was the ROSE, R for rotundum foramen, but do you remember the rotundum foramen was opening in the infraorbital region, maxillary region, passing the maxillary nerve, so the foramen rotundum will not appear here. So the next number is the oval shaped foramen. Yes, can you see here again, this is the oval shaped foramen, that is the foramen ovale, and just on the posterolateral to this foramen ovale the next foramen is the foramen spinosum. These are the same foramen which we have seen earlier inside the cranial cavity with the same sequence. Okay, so already we have discussed, but now can you see few additional things? See here, this is the one bony projection at the base of the skull. Okay, this bony projection is known as styloid process. Various muscles and ligaments are attached to this styloid process known as the styloid apparatus. In few individuals this styloid process is enlarged and it compresses the nearby structures, which is known as the Eagles syndrome, correlation of the anatomy with the ENT. Okay, now see, there is a one large bony projection at the inferior side of the skull. This is known as the mastoid process. Okay, so can you see, there is the one opening is located between the styloid process and the mastoid process. So what should be the name of this opening? That is known as the stylomastoid. And it is very most important. Why? Because this stylomastoid foramen gives exit pathway to the facial nerve. So which nerve passes through this stylomastoid foramen? Yes, facial nerve exit through this foramen. Facial nerve is entering within the petrous part of temporal bone via the internal acoustic meatus. Then it is coming outside the cranium through this foramen. Okay, so during this course the facial nerve is running inside the bony part, petrous part of temporal bone with a very long course. So MCQ, which cranial nerve is having the longest intra Course answer is facial nerve. Okay. So after this, what are the other foramen? Can you see? This is the one more foramen. This is the carotid canal. Internal carotid artery enters within the cranial cavity through this carotid canal, while the vertebral artery enters within the cranial cavity through the foramina magna. Now this internal carotid artery and the vertebral artery both make a circular anastomosis at the base of the brain, which is known as the circle of Willis, which we will discuss later in the blood supply of the brain. Okay. Now this is the one, another opening is visible. This opening is the external opening, outside opening of the jugular foramen, which we have already seen in the previous part. Okay. So this is all about the various important foramen at lower side, but few less important structure. Can you see? There is the one another foramen is there. This is on the posterior side of the condyle. Yes, this structure is indicating the occipital condyle. In front of the occipital condyle there is the anterior condylar canal, which passes the 12th cranial nerve, we have seen. But this posterior opening is known as the posterior condylar canal. Yes, not important, just for the information. Now see here, there is the one bony elevation. This bony elevation is known as the external occipital protuberance, which we will discuss later in origin of the trapezius, and the line which is extending from this external occipital protuberance on the lateral side, that is known as the superior nuchal line. Yes, the medial 1/3 part of this superior nuchal line also gives origin to the trapezius. We will discuss in the upper limb part. So these are the important bony landmarks for the our first year viva as well as for our various MCQ entrance exams. Now little more discussion about the foramen lacerum. Actually the foramen lacerum is filled by the cartilage in the adult age. No important structure is passing through this foramen lacerum, as you can see in this image. Yes, emissary vein is passing through this foramen lacerum. Yes, this foramen lacerum also passes one artery, that is known as the ascending branch of ascending pharyngeal artery. Pharynx is supplied by one artery, that is the ascending pharyngeal artery, which is the branch from the external carotid artery, as we have seen in video of the face part. Then this ascending pharyngeal artery is giving one branch which is ascending upside within the cranial cavity. That's why this branch is known as the ascending branch of ascending pharyngeal artery. Now see here, there is the petrous part of temporal bone. Petrous part of temporal bone is related with the nerve which are known as the petrosal nerve. There are the three important petrosal nerve. One is the big nerve, large nerve, which is superficially located. That's why this is known as the greater petrosal nerve, because it is superficial in location. That's why also known as superficial petrosal nerve. Also you can say greater superficial petrosal nerve. All are same. One another nerve is there that is deeply running in the petrous part of temporal bone. That's why it is known as the deep petrosal nerve. And one more nerve is there which is having the very small course, that is the lesser petrosal nerve. Okay. Already we have seen that lesser petrosal nerve is passing through the foramen ovale. And what is the importance, we will see later in the parotid gland, because it participates in the secretomotor pathway of the parotid gland. But what about the greater petrosal nerve and the deep petrosal nerve? Yes, as you can see in this image, the greater petrosal nerve is the branch of the facial nerve, which is coming from the turned part of the facial nerve. The turned part, any turned part is terminated as genu. So your MCQ, at the genu of the facial nerve, the greater petrosal nerve is emerging. How you can remember? G for genu, G for greater petrosal nerve or greater superficial petrosal nerve. Then this greater superficial petrosal nerve is passing through the foramen lacerum from the posterior side to the anterior side. Okay. And another nerve, deep petrosal nerve. Yes, this deep petrosal nerve is coming from where? It is coming from the sympathetic plexus around the internal carotid artery, as you can see in this image. So the deep petrosal nerve is coming from the sympathetic plexus around the internal carotid artery. As you know that these sympathetic fibers are coming from the root of the T1, segment T1 of the spinal cord. So root value of this deep petrosal nerve is the T1. Now this deep petrosal nerve is also running from posterior to the entry side of the foramen lacerum. Then these both nerves, they are running on the entry wall of the foramen lacerum, and on the entry wall there is one bony canal is located. Again you can see this image. This bony canal is located just above the pterygoid bone. That's why this bony canal is known as the pterygoid canal. Here within this pterygoid canal, the greater petrosal nerve and the deep petrosal nerve both are uniting and they are making the Vidian's nerve. Yes, this Vidian's nerve is formed within the pterygoid canal. That's why this Vidian's nerve is also known as nerve of pterygoid canal. So this is one very important MCQ which is always and always asked. So this greater superficial petrosal nerve and the deep petrosal nerve, they are also passing from posterior to the entry side of the foramen lacerum. Okay, what is the applied part of this Vidian's nerve? We will see in pterygopalatine ganglion part later, that this pterygopalatine ganglion, which is also known as ganglion of the hay fever or ganglion of the allergy, so it participates in the allergy. Yes, the Vidian's nerve also participates in the allergy. So correlate with the ENT vasomotor rhinitis, allergic rhinitis part, that in case of the allergy we are treating the patient with the antihistaminic. If not treated, then we give the tablets of the steroid, and if not treated, then we perform the Vidian's neurectomy. What is the Vidian's neurectomy? Neurosurgery correlation. We can cut this Vidian's nerve within this pterygoid canal. So as we know that Vidian's nerve participates in carrying the sensation and the secretomotor pathway for the lacrimation, for the nasal secretion, for the palatine gland secretion, all the allergic gland secretion. Yes, in a case of the allergy, there is the tearing, there is the nasal secretion, there is the palatine secretion. So when we will cut the Vidian's nerve, then all this secretion will be inhibited. There is no secretion, and this is the treatment of the allergy. So this procedure is known as Vidian's neurectomy. Better you will study in detail in surgery part, but this is the anatomy correlation of that neurosurgery and the ENT topic with the anatomy. Okay, so what are the structures passing through this foramen lacerum? We are going to draw. Suppose this is the pterygoid bone. Just above this pterygoid bone, there is the bony canal is located, which is known as the pterygoid canal. And on just a posterior part to here, there is the location of the foramen lacerum. Okay, diagrammatic presentation. Suppose this is the foramen lacerum. So now see here, there is the location of the facial nerve, which is having the horizontal part, then oblique part, and then straight part. It is going down, passing through the stylomastite foramen outside. So this is the facial nerve. This turned part is known as genu. As I told you, from this turned part, from this genu part, one nerve is coming, that is the greater superficial petrosal nerve, which is passing from the posterior wall to the entry wall of the foramen lacerum, and then it is reaching into the pterygoid canal. Okay, and what happens to this nerve we will see later. So this nerve is running in the petrous part of temporal bone. Yes, this foramen lacerum is very closely related with the petrous part of temporal bone. That's why this nerve is known as greater superficial petrosal nerve. This is the greater superficial petrosal nerve, which is coming from the genu, while there is the internal carotid artery, and internal carotid artery is having the bunch of the nerve, which is known as the plexus around the internal carotid artery. Okay, so from here one nerve is coming, which is running in the petrous part of temporal bone on the deeper aspect. So again it is passing from the posterior wall, it is passing through the foramen lacerum and then passing enterally, and then it is joining to the greater superficial petrosal nerve within the pterygoid canal. Okay, so this is the internal carotid artery. This nerve bunch around the internal carotid artery is known as sympathetic plexus around internal carotid artery, and as we know, the sympathetic plexus for the head neck face going through arteries, they are always having the T1 root value. So this is the MCQ which we will correlate in upper limb part. This lesion to the T1 results in the Horner syndrome. We will see detail later, but now this nerve coming from here, that is the deep petrosal nerve. So can you see the greater superficial petrosal nerve plus deep petrosal nerve, both are uniting within the pterygoid canal. So this formed nerve is known as nerve of pterygoid canal. Now this nerve of pterygoid canal is also known as Vidian's nerve because studied by the Vidian. So what is happening? You can write down that Vidian's nerve is equal to greater superficial petrosal nerve plus deep petrosal nerve. So this is the equation. Yes. What are the other MCQ? That this greater superficial petrosal nerve is branch of facial nerve, while deep petrosal nerve is the branch of sympathetic plexus around internal carotid artery with the root 1 of the T1. Okay. And one more thing, this internal carotid artery traverses the foramen lacerum. Few more bony landmark. Can you see this image? Yes, as you know, fontanelle of the skull, correlation with the ops gynae. In the fetal skull, there are the few opening within the skull bone. Yes, the bones are not ossified completely, and this permits the delivery of the head through the vaginal canal by slipping over each other. So during this all, there are the 6 openings in the fetal skull: anterior fontanelle, posterior fontanelle, 2 anterolateral and 2 posterolateral. In adult life, these fontanelle ossifies together and forms the bramma, lambda, pterion and asterion. Yes, bramma at the site of the anterior fontanelle, lambda at the site of the posterior fontanelle, 2 anterolateral fontanelle, they ossified and forms the pterion, while the 2 posterolateral fontanelle, they forms the asterion because it is the asterisk or star shape in appearance. Now see, this pterion is most important for you. Why? Because this pterion is one of the very thin part near this temporal region, and the thinnest part of this pterion is known as the Sylvian point, as we have discussed earlier. So for the neurosurgery, for the cranial cavity approach, this Sylvian point, this pterion is the one of the very best choice for the drill, for the burr procedure. So this is used for the surgery of the extradural hemorrhage as well as various cranial cavity approaches. Okay. So can you see this MCQ? Which bony structure protects the middle meningeal artery? As we have discussed, just middle meningeal artery is on the temporal part, and this temporal part is having the H-shaped bony landmark which is known as the pterion. Just we have discussed right now. Next question, which structure does not passes through the foramen ovale? So as we know that foramen ovale is passing the M, A, L, E, but the examiner is making confusion by giving all the M, A, L, E. So do you remember the middle meningeal artery? It passes through the foramen spinosum, not passing through the foramen ovale. Actually through the foramen ovale, the structure which passes through the M, that is the mandibular nerve. Yes. So here the answer is the middle meningeal artery. It is not passing through the foramen ovale. Now can you solve this image based question? Yes. Now see the pattern. In the first year MBBS, the foramen ovale was important. Later the linear question have been asked. Nowadays these linear question are asked, but current situation they are giving the image and again they are asking about the foramen ovale. Means always they are making focus for the important structures only, but their way of asking is different. Means actually the pattern is not changing. What they are doing, they are asking the same thing in a different way. So can you tell me which foramen gives passage to the mandibular division of the trigeminal nerve? So you can see this image. This is the Turkish saddle where the king pituitary gland sit, and on each side these foramen they are queen, means these are the foramen lacerum, while on lateral side, as I told you, king gives rose to the queen. So this next foramen is the foramen R, rotundum foramen. Then next foramen is the O, ovale foramen, and the next foramen is the S, spinosum foramen, which passes the emissary vein also. So the trick from the midline to lateral side, that is the ROSE, rose. Okay, and what are the other foramen? This is in between the upper and the lower margin of the petrous part of temporal bone. So this foramen is indicating the internal acoustic meatus, while this foramen behind to this internal acoustic meatus is indicating the second largest foramen, jugular foramen, and this is the foramina magna. Just anteriorly it is related with the anterior condylar canal, or you can say hypoglossal canal. So these are the various foramen. So we have to practice the different kind of the images, and we have to apply the knowledge. Okay, so this is all about the cranial cavity and various important structure passing. So these are the important structure. In detail, the particular nerve we will see in the different video. So thank you very much. All the best.